What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Next Level Teaching. You saw how I was maximizing my time there?
I saw that.
Yeah. I'm your host, Jeremy, here with my super dope co-hostess with the mostest, Miss Tori Rodriguez, a.k.a. T-Rob. What's up?
Hey, Jay.
How you feeling?
I'm great. How are you?
Man, good.
I got that energy.
Oh, yeah, I see.
I'm ready.
That protein thing got you ready.
I know.
She ready. You feel
It
me?
had caffeine in it, too. It's coffee flavored.
Oh, yeah, you deserve it.
So your girl, real ready now.
Yeah, we got Alicia here.
Yes, I'm excited. Got some math in the house.
Yes.
Jay, are you a little scared now?
I'm ready for the Pythagorean theory. The Pythagorean theory.
He's so scared of that thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's okay. Just breathe. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be the type of person where I just add, you know what I'm saying, to my life and subtract all the negative.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I'm real easy with it, you know, and I like to divide my time, you know what I'm saying, and multiply my impact.
Sir,
Okay, let me stop.
You one of those you sound like one of those signs from Hobby Lobby that.
Hobby Lobby, holla at your boy. Let me get an endorsement one time. Yes. Now Nicole recommended you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Nicole.
So
Nicole.
if you haven't watched our episode with Nicole, I'm going to say it correctly. Marte, not Marty. Marty in the middle. It's her IG from last season. She is phenomenal. Science teacher, 6th grade. And so we have her teammate, Miss Alicia here, who is math. 6th grade, unfortunately. Bless her, but that's okay.
She about that life.
Yeah.
We're going to say
so I'm excited to kind of hear a little bit about your story. Mm-hmm. I know that you guys are good friends, and so she was amazing, so you bound to be amazing as well then.
Let's go. With no pressure, though.
Yes.
We got thousands of countries listening, tune in, but no pressure.
We live, by the way.
Okay.
She got it. She's like, I ain't worried.
Let's do this. Okay.
She got rolled. She's like, okay. Yeah. So first off, I want to know a little bit about you. So tell me a little bit about what got you into education, because we always say here on the podcast, you got to be called and a little crazy.
Just a little bit.
To be a teacher. Let's be honest. Also, to be a middle school math teacher, we are definitely crazy. Definitely crazy. So tell me a little bit about your story. What got you into education? When did you kind of know you wanted to do this?
Well, I definitely would say that I was called. So I always was like a little bit jealous of people who had those cute stories, like they knew they wanted to be a teacher, like when they was a little kid, I knew I want to be a teacher, or I never thought I would be in education, honestly. Out of high school, when I went to college, I was a pre-med major because I always was passionate about helping others. That's always been like my foundation, what I was rooted in. Like I want to help others, so I thought that would fall in the medical field.
Right.
So I was a pre-med major. That did not work out because I love math, but me and sciences, we don't get along well. I just can't rock with the science. So I ended up switching my major to nursing, which was still in that medical field. I couldn't let it go. At the time, it was it was called the NET exam or something that they had. I took that. I took all my courses, but it was a wait list. And I was literally waiting, a whole semester went by and I was waiting. Wasn't really doing anything. And
to get into the nursing program?
Because it was very, very competitive. You know, I was waiting. And I don't know. I was just I was literally just praying. I just didn't really feel I didn't really know what my purpose was. Yeah. Then I ended up switching my major again to marketing. Because I was like, okay, my personality, I think that's something that I would like to do. That didn't work. Then I switched to accounting. I literally, I major hopped, different things, trying to figure out what it was for me.
Facts.
But then I decided to get into counseling. I was like, okay, I want to be a counselor because it's still that helping, wanting to help others, right? So at Georgia State, the counseling program, I had to get into the education program. Okay. And you had to take the same courses. That's the route you had to take to become a counselor. And I figured once I reached that fork in the road, I would decide, okay, if I wanted to be a teacher or be a counselor. And again, I did all of the field studies, the work, shadowing other teachers and everything. And I ended up loving it. And I know I did do some field work at a Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
And I really loved it. That's the one that actually really stood out to me, even doing the student teaching and all that, just helping those kids and everything. And Yeah. And so I decided to go ahead and teach. And I truly feel like it was just God. Like that was like my true calling to do what I'm doing.
You were just denying it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I did not know. I did not know that this is where I would be, but I truly feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
And I love the fact that you just kept trying different majors. Like, you know what, this ain't quite it. I'm not feeling this. Let me, yeah.
And once I switched, everything fell into place. Like, I was on the dean's list, like consecutively every semester, like grades, everything was good. Like, you know, I had to trust the process.
That's inspiring because I was on the dean's hit list. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to talk about that, though.
I'll say, though, I think that, so the fact that you said you wish that you had that story of like, this is what I've always wanted to do. So that's my story is like, my mom's a teacher and I'm one of those that like, I went to college knowing I wanted to be a teacher. I taught dance starting at the age of like 13 as an assistant and then taking over my own classes. So I've always been that one that's like, oh, I want to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. But my mom wasn't. And my mom is the reason why I decided to go into education. And my mom was the kind that like didn't know what she wanted to do, changed her major a couple of times, then left college, got married, did a whole bunch of other stuff, had me, and then went back. Mm-hmm. And I think that just goes to show everyone that it's okay. Because there's so many teachers that come in and it's their second career, honestly. Mm-hmm. There's so many people that leave corporate America to come into education. And so not everyone's story that is a teacher is, this is what I've wanted to do my whole entire life.
But you all eventually got to that place.
Yes.
It's like everybody, the most beautiful, I feel like the most beautiful thing about life and humanity is when you realize what you've been destined, what you've been called to do.
Yeah.
And so for some people, they kind of stumble upon it like, oh, man, I'm actually really good at this. This is my calling. And then others are like, I'm going to try all these different things, but this is what's right inside my heart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how was your first year?
My first year was actually great. It was probably my best year out of all of them. Like, you know, a lot of people, because, you know, a lot of people have crazy first year stories.
Right.
But I was like blessed with just amazing teammates. Like, my first year, my teammate, she was super supportive and she like helped me with literally everything. Like, I didn't feel stressed out about anything. It was great. Okay. It was definitely a new experience, you know, my first year. And I kind of was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Middle school, at the same school, every 6th grade math.
How long?
Yeah. 6th grade. Oh, I'm going into year 6 of teaching.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I've always taught 6th grade math.
Right.
And my first year was great. It was amazing. I had so much support and help. And so, yeah.
And I think that right there says a lot because as veteran teachers, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to help those first year teachers because we know that statistically the first 5 years are the most vulnerable years for teachers. And that's when most people leave the profession. And so I think we have a responsibility as veteran teachers to help support those first year teachers, to give them what they need, because you can have teachers that can have an awful first year or that can be in your shoes in your circumstance where you had a great first year. And I think that should be our goal, right? Yeah. That should be our goal as veteran teachers, to help out those that are just coming in, because it can be scary. It can be hard. There's so many things that can go wrong. I mean, I remember my first day standing in a classroom and just looking at these kids, and I just freshly graduated because I graduated in December. So I started teaching in January. And I was like, oh, I'm in charge of all these lives right now. Like, they walk into the classroom and then you like shut the door and you're like, oh, shoot.
Right.
If something goes wrong, this on me.
Right.
And it can be scary. It can be a little daunting, honestly, because parents are trusting you with their babies, with their children's lives. Yeah, Jay over there like,
that's why I be cashing my kids' teachers out.
Yeah, I mean, and so I love that you did have someone that was so supportive and helpful in that time for you.
Yeah.
So it sounded like it was all rose petals. Now let's talk about the gritty. Did you ever have a student that like got on your last nerve, or a student that just made you say, you know what, I don't think this is going to work, and then things eventually kind of turned around?
She's like, which one? No, it's okay. We all feel like that.
Of course, yes. Every year.
Yeah.
Every year you got your favorite kid. Their favorite student. Don't never miss a day. They there every day. That kid, they have perfect attendance.
Driving you crazy.
They check out early, then they come back.
That is
parents drop them back off after they did it.
So truthful. They are always the ones that have perfect attendance. But let's talk about why. Because they're the ones that their parents need them there because their parents are busy working or doing whatever.
Man, you better get up out of here and get your butt to school.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And so tell us about that story. Tell us about that one kid. Pick one.
Oh, Lord, so many. Well, I guess I'll just be very generic and something that I've noticed, not generic, but general, something that I've noticed with all of those students that they have a story.
Yes.
They don't just act out like that for no reason.
Right.
It's always something rooted in just their home life.
Yep.
Right.
You know, and so I just talk to them. I talk to them and I let them know that I actually, I care about what's going on. Like, what's going on? Like, how many times we have those talks, we pull them to the side, we go outside. I ask Nicole, watch my class. Let me go ahead. Let me talk to this kid or something, and it's just having those one-on-one talks and they begin to trust you and they know that you actually care about them. And you have to let them know that you on their side. We're a team. We're in this together. And I always tell them, like, you got to help me help you. Yep. Like, I don't want to send you to the office. I don't want you ending up in ISS or getting suspended. Like, that doesn't solve anything. They come right back. Yep. Like, I try to handle it in the classroom and really build a solid, strong relationship with them. And after the talk, it's not like, boom, a switch goes off and they're like little angels. No, we play tug of war. We go at it some days, but some days are definitely better than others. But and
I think that that's something important to remember, right? Like, it's not going to magically flip a switch. You're right. It's not. Right. There's still going to be a tug of war, but you are learning about them and learning how to help fix the situation when problems do arise. Yeah. And I think that the other thing that you said that really stood out to me was you try and deal with it in your classroom. So many times we have teachers that just want to throw kids out into the hallway. Kids acting up, go outside. And there's no like, go outside so that we can talk. It's go outside or go to the office. And there's no... So then you're losing the opportunity to build that relationship with them and have that conversation with them, because then you're pushing it to administration. So then you're either sending them straight to consequences or you're allowing a relationship to be built outside of your classroom instead of in your classroom, which is where you really need it to happen.
No, I agree. Totally. Yeah.
What do you think, what was your background like growing up? Because you just seem so cool. You just like, hey, look, when these kids give me a hard time, I understand it's a story, boom, boom, boom. Like, how was life like, for you growing up? And does that have anything to do with,
like
how you interact with the kids and build those relationships? Because there are some educators that hear that, but they have a hard time of grasping like what that really looks like.
Yeah.
You mean like my home life?
Yeah.
Like my home life was solid. Just a loving household. I'm fortunate enough. Both my parents were in the home, so I didn't really. I can't say. I will tell you. I was blessed in that area too. My students, these sixth graders, have lived. Like, they've gone through trauma, things that I can't even imagine. Like, they've gone through the struggles that I can't even relate to. Yeah. But even though I can't relate to those things, I'm still very, empathetic towards them and understanding. Like, a lot of them, like, it's crazy. Some of the things that they've experienced so young, and they don't know how to internalize those things, and they don't know. But I just try to be as understanding. Like, I haven't. My home life was
smooth. Yeah. But you, I guess because you got that love and you got that support, and when you see kids in your classroom that don't have that, you like, I get it. That's what you lacking.
Yeah.
Right? So I can now give you that extra care, that extra attention. You know what I'm saying? That very thing that you lacking, I got it. And I know the impact that that's made for me. But I feel like, there are some educators, they see the kids struggling, but they don't necessarily, it doesn't always click like, man, there's something else going on inside their world.
Yeah.
And the first thing you said was you talk to them. You build that relationship. You see what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's something we're big on. Even like, my whole team, like we're just big on that. Like, why not build a relationship and get to know these kids? Some people some teachers don't even try. They don't they don't care to.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I feel like, how can I even expect you to listen to me like while I'm teaching, and you don't trust me. You don't think I even care about you.
Yeah. And they pick up on that. They know, like they get that gut feeling when that teacher doesn't care for them, right? When that teacher doesn't want to engage, when that teacher doesn't want to have a relationship, they feel that. And they feel it the other way around as well. Right. They feel that, ooh, Miss Garcia, she cares about me.
Yeah.
She cares enough to like reach out. She cares enough. And that is what changes the dynamic of a classroom, honestly. I mean, it truly is.
I could tell the teachers who liked me and those who didn't like me.
Yeah.
Like I could tell the teachers who I felt the burden from their facial expressions, from what they would say to how I feel like they would try to avoid me. And that would make me act out in different ways to get their attention. And then there might be some resentment as well. I might start feeling a certain type of way.
Yeah.
But then there were those teachers I knew liked me. And I was like, man, let me stop wilding. There was a difference because I knew that they really liked me. So I'm naturally going to gravitate towards them and connect with them, as opposed to those that's just fire and brimstone, just all by the law, just this is my way or the highway. And I'm like, yo, you're not connected with me, so screw you.
Yeah.
And that was my mindset. But there were those that I was like, you know what, you cool. Let me do better to build that relationship with you or meet you halfway.
And I cringed a little bit when you said that because I know that there are times, and it's generally not with the kids. It's like the parent comes at me about something, and then I relate that kid to their parent, right? And so I've had a few moments where I've felt some kind of way toward a kid because of the way that their parent came at me in an email or something. And so that really convicted me just now, Jay, and really challenged me to think about putting some of those feelings to the side at times. And we have to be the adult in the classroom.
Right.
We really do. And so I want to challenge some of you guys out there to think about that and to think about, are there times where you have taken something personally that either a kid has done or their parents have done?
Well, let me say this. I'm going to give you a little pushback. I think you do good with that, Tori. It's just when you're maybe having one of those weeks.
Yeah.
Because you know it. Like, you know, not to take it personal.
Yes.
You've been doing this. You were OG. I've seen you navigate through virtual and in person. Like, you already know that the kids love you. Half of them be flirting with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get that. But I guess, like, what do we do when we not having those good days?
Yeah.
Because this, it's in your heart.
Yeah.
You so cool it down to earth. The average kid's going to connect.
Yeah.
But it's just like, when we're having those rough days or when something's going wrong, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like we already might be feeling a certain type of way. And then that situation happens.
Yeah.
That's when this is like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you have those days where you're just...
I have.
How do you manage that?
I definitely have had days like that. Probably not necessarily like with the parents, but like there's sometimes the students might have said something that has gotten under my skin. And then it's always those ride homes, and I'm like, I can't believe I let a little 12-year-old let me get to me. Like, what? I'm like, really? Right. Let them get you mad like that.
And that's a good point right there. I can't believe I let a little 12-year-old get under my skin like that.
Yeah.
I wish.
Like, really?
I wish. I'm not gonna name her name, but our last nanny had that mindset. That's why she quit.
Yeah.
She said my daughter's only 8. A beautiful, bright little girl. She's very
amazing.
strong.
Yeah.
But she quit because she felt that she was taking things too personal. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? She an 8-year-old. And my daughter is very respectable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it got to a point where she was like, I'm leaving. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But sometimes, because of what she had going on in her personal life, it made it so the average little small thing that Jewel might say, it was something else going on the inside that really, you know what I'm saying, kind of triggers some things.
Yeah, they get you on them days. They'll say
for
something.
sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you tell us about a season that was, maybe it was during the pandemic, or maybe you had some loved ones or a loss or depression or relationship or whatever, something going on in your world that made what you did in the classroom every single day that much more challenging? And then maybe it wasn't a season, maybe it was the educators or the system or administration. Something that our listeners can hear and be like, yo, I get her. Like, because I've been there.
I think probably what stands out to me is when I was in grad school, balancing teaching, making sure I have my lessons and everything intact, and then my work, like writing all those papers, trying to get my master's. That probably was the most stressful time for me, trying to balance, making sure I'm efficient on both ends, getting everything set up for my classroom, my lessons, making sure I'm good on that. And then a lot of times I was working off just a couple hours of sleep because I'm up all late at night writing papers and everything. So that would probably have been, that was my most stressful time. Now, if you're asking me, my most difficult season of teaching would this past year. Yeah.
The pandemic year?
Oh, yeah.
Concurrent?
Yes. Teaching hybrid, both asynchronous and I'm so sick of that. Yeah. Teaching on digital and in person
at the same time. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I never got used to it. Like, they were saying like, oh, just get used to, it's a new normal. And no,
it ain't a new normal.
Never normal for me.
Nope.
Never.
Please. That makes my blood boil.
Yeah, it was insane for me. Just the expectations put on teachers, like, why?
So how'd you get through it? Tell us about the mental. And then we're gonna go deeper into part 2. But I want you to close out this segment. We want to bring you back for a second segment. But tell us, like, what did you tell yourself, like mentally, like what was that mental regimen to deal with all of that and see what's happening and have a limited control? What did you do to have that mental bandwidth to say, okay, let me press forward?
I just had to pray every day. Every day. That's it. Yeah. It was just all God had to push me, get me through, because that was the only way. And we had to lean on each other, my team.
That's it.
Like
you've mentioned that quite often.
Yeah, we had to. We a team for real. Like we literally had to lean on each other, like more than ever. Like it was a lot more of collaborating during this season of teaching.
I think I'm gonna add that more to my professional development.
Yeah.
Because when they bring me in to do training on school culture, I don't do a lot of emphasis on those teams.
Yeah. Your curriculum team and your academic team.
Yeah. I haven't put a lot of focus there, but I'm going to need to do some research and to see what else we can add to it there, because you've mentioned that quite often on how when you first came in, the team, the systems that was in place to really have the welcoming type of environment and culture for you to thrive. And because you thrive and you're in a good place, you're going to be able to give your kids the absolute best. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that some in part 2. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that sometimes that is what can get you through the day, even. When the kids are acting out, when I remember my first 3 years at Berkmar, when like Rye and I were together, some days it was just each other that helped get you through the day, because sometimes the kids, as much as we love them, sometimes they do drive you up a wall sometimes. Sometimes it just gets difficult. And having a group of teachers that you can collaborate with, that you can even do life with, I think that is game changing when it comes to teaching. And I think that that's something that we don't think about enough when we are applying to work at a school, is what is your culture like in your school? And, one thing that I wish that we could do is to say, let me meet some of these people that I'm going to be working with. So that I can see, do we mesh together? Do we, are we going to work and collaborate well together? Because if that doesn't happen, then you can feel like an island. And in education, you cannot feel like an island. You will drown if you are an island.
Yeah. So it sounds almost like a draft.
Yeah.
You show up to school like, you know what, I'm picking you on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would, in a perfect world, that's how it would be.
Yeah.
But if you do not have, that's our producer saying, wrap it up. Right? But if you do not have that in place, it's just like, okay, what else can we do to build together with who we have? Because you're not able to control the kids that's in your class. You can't control and pick your administration. But it's just like, you know what? Now, there might be some situations where you can decide what team you're going to work with, but that's not the case. I guess for our listeners, what I'm hearing is, do the best you can with who you have and really try to build those relationships. Because I know that's what helped you get through some really rough times as well as you as well.
Yeah.
And that's rich. I want you to hang out a little bit longer. Okay. We're going to go deeper in part 2, okay?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And y'all make sure you come back for part 2.
Yeah, don't miss it.
All right.
That was just the appetizer. Let's go.
We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.